Hey everybody, welcome to Autumn Athletes Not Done Yet. Larry Sorensen here, and I'm sitting down today with Duane Searles to find out what makes him an autumn athlete that's not done yet. Duane, thanks a bunch for sitting down and taking some time with us. And let's get this started by you telling us a little bit about yourself.
All right, well, I'm 53 years old, about 5'8", 141 pounds. I'm on the small side, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. Currently live in Franklin. I'm born and bred in West Dallas. Married for 21 years, 2 stepchildren, and 1 house lion. I have had 2 German Shepherds over the years and a few other cats. I am a career UPSer. I am a lifer. If you work at UPS, you know what that means. That means I started young, and I've been there for 34 years now. 6 years part-time, 5 years delivery driver, 23 years in semis. And I do not have any social medias, but I do have a YouTube channel which talks about my slot car racing. You can find me at Duane Searles 8786 on YouTube.
And we'll definitely post that in the link below so you can check that out. And we're going to talk a little bit about his car activities a little bit later. So let's get started by finding out a little bit about your fitness background.
So my fitness journey started very young. I played baseball, any sport really. I just loved it all, you know, bike riding, all that kind of stuff. Didn't really get serious about the journey until I was about 40 when I discovered the table tennis clubs and found out that they were geared towards like lessons and tournaments. So, you know, then it was like, oh, okay, there's something really going on here with this table tennis. Maybe I should, you know, really go in on this and see what it's all about.
So what table tennis club do you play for or play with?
Originally it was the Hickory Club in New Berlin, and then Shorewood has a club, and West Dallas has a club, and Sussex has a club. So there's quite a few in the Milwaukee area.
So did anybody or anything inspire you throughout your fitness journey?
Well, at the very beginning, my stepfather, when he was, you know, dating my mother, he wanted to see if I was a righty or a lefty. So he just started playing catch with me just to see. So we figured out I was a righty, and then he was surprised at how easily I could catch a ball. So then it became all about baseball. And then the writing was on the wall for baseball. I could see I was going to get killed someday playing that because I'm so small. And at the park, the tennis was becoming huge. This is like the early 80s with McEnroe and Lendl going on. So I was like, well, what's this tennis all about? So I took that up and discovered that I really liked Ivan Lendl because he's very calm and stoic. I loved how he would just sit there and look at McEnroe when he was having his fits. So Lendl's one of my heroes. And my brothers inspire me. My older brother is amazing at throwing a frisbee, and he was in a roller skating troupe, and they would perform at Summerfest every year. It's incredible. It's amazing. And my younger brother, he was speed skating, hockey. He was training to get on the speed skating, you know, Olympic team back then, and I think he had an injury. And he is also an accomplished Ironman. He's done 3 or 4 Ironman triathlons. And for my skating background, it was figure skating. I was so young, I couldn't actually tie my shoes yet. So I would have my mom lace up my figure skates, and I would just walk to the playground where they would flood the rink, and I would go figure skating. So at a very young age, I was on single blades.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm just as comfortable on my own 2 feet as I am on figure skates. And then there's, of course, yours truly. When you would come to the club, we would talk about fitness. We would do our warm-up sessions. And I always remember how you would say, the single thing that is keeping you from going to the next level is fitness. And I do believe that that is true.
And just full disclosure, Duane and I have played table tennis together. He started before, and he kind of got me into the table tennis. And then, like you said, He brought the skill to me of table tennis, and I brought a little bit of the fitness part of it into table tennis for him. So,
And we also worked at UPS together.
and we did, yes, for a long time. But I'm a little older. I'm retired now. So, so did you have any kind of physical setbacks along your journey here?
I did have a lower back injury for a while. I just kind of worked through it, and eventually it went away. I do think that what helped was I had a massage therapist work the psoas muscle. It's kind of in the rib cage area, and that seemed to help a lot with the lower back pain.
You're feeling good now, though?
Yes, I'm feeling as good as I ever have been.
I'm going to give you a chance to brag here just a little bit. Tell us about some of your personal best achievements.
Okay, well, I'll try to go in chronological order. I was an all-star Little League baseball player. I played every position except first base. It was just kind of weird. The coach would say, "Oh, we need a pitcher this year. You're pitching." "I don't want to pitch. I want to play outfield." "No, you're pitching." Another year goes by. "Oh, you're catching." Like, "No, I'm going to get killed. I'm small." But the catching position, that was the most fun. You were in every play. I had all the equipment on. I didn't worry about getting hurt. And I was pretty good at throwing them out at second. So catching was fun. I did letter in varsity tennis in high school. And in college, I'm very proud of this. I maxed out at 175 on the bench press, and I only weighed 125 at the time. I gained 10 pounds from high school, 1 year of college. I did roll a 299 game in league bowling, so shout out to Merle if he's watching. 299, I'm very proud of that as well. And in table tennis recently, I got silver in singles and gold in doubles at the National Senior Games in Pittsburgh. Very proud of that. Me and my doubles partner, we worked very hard for a year on our doubles. And there were some very close matches in singles and doubles. It was just a great week. So very, very proud about all that.
Tell us about your current goals right now. What you got, any pending events coming up? What are you up to now that the senior games are over and you're a national champion?
I'm going to do the Wisconsin Seniors for singles tennis in August. In September, it's the Wisconsin Seniors again for table tennis. And one of my hot rod muscle cars, I've been working for years on this, and I'm trying to get it into the 12s in the quarter mile. So those are the upcoming goals.
So you mentioned something about your cars. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that activity? I mean, you might not think right away about, I have a hot rod car as being part of being an automathlete, but you do a lot of work on your own cars, so there's definitely physicality there that goes into that. So tell us just a little bit about what you're doing with your cars.
Right. Well, I guess there's some significant hand-eye coordination involved in working on cars. I think it's more difficult than working on a house, personally. And you can compete at car shows with these cars, and you can also do road course races and drag races. And so there's a little bit of athletics involved, I guess, in the drag racing aspect. There's reaction times and that kind of thing. So it's all part of the kitchen soup that is Duane. I'm into a lot of stuff.
Now that you mention that, you like the big cars,
Right.
But you also like the little cars too. And you mentioned something about your YouTube channel, and we'll put a link below to his YouTube channel so you can hear more about it. But tell us about these little cars that you have in the background here.
Right, so behind me is my HO slot car track, and I'm in a club with, there's 5 tracks in the circuit. We get about 8 to 12 people who show up to race, and also very difficult to work on. Everything's very tiny, and it runs on DC in a slot, so you have a trigger. So it's hand-eye coordination with trying to keep up a nice pattern to get a good time, or a good lap count, I should say.
So what do you do for training for all of these? Like you said, what did you say, the soup or whatever?
The kitchen soup.
The kitchen soup,
Duane.
that's Duane. So how do you keep yourself in condition? How do you work on your hand-eye coordination, speed, strength, endurance, all those things to be able to kind of do these wide variety of activities?
I work hard in life. I have 2 acres of yard work to do. I'm working on my cars. I'm always doing some kind of remodeling house project. So that is perhaps, I'm not real sure, but perhaps that's how Rocky did it in his movies. He would just work hard and then go fight. So that's a part of it. And then I do try to show up for table tennis once or twice a week during training times. If there's a tournament coming up or whatever, I'll try and play more. I've got the robot here. I can play by myself on the robot and train. So I don't have a real specific training schedule because I'm so involved in life right now. Retirement's coming. That will change when I retire.
You casually mentioned something, the robot here, and I know as a table tennis player myself, when I mention anything about a robot, people ask me what in the world that is. And we're going to take a little look for a second and see what this whole robot thing is about that Duane's talking about. So check out this video. So there you get a little idea of how Duane can train with his robot. Now, one thing that I noticed, and this is for the non-table tennis players out there, you'll see that in some of that action, Duane was kind of using a defensive mode, if you will. Some of those shots he's attacking, but a lot of them he's kind of just holding his paddle there. And for those of you that aren't familiar with table tennis, you might kind of wonder exactly what he's doing. So I guess just tell us a little bit about your style of table tennis and maybe how that's evolved to where you are now. It's a little bit different than we first met. And then, what equipment you're using.
I was a conventional 2-winged attacker when we first started playing, double inverted player. I was having trouble returning serve, so I switched to long pips on the backhand. And long pips helps with the margin for error, and it basically just reverses the spin. So now I'm more of a blocker. I just basically block to try to make the opponent lose, not so much beat him. And if there's a loose ball now and then I'll attack it.
And he may have thrown a few words out there that folks don't know about. When he talks about double inverted, that's the smooth. When you see the smooth rubber on each side of the paddle, and then the long pips on one side of his paddle is where you see those, like the old pimples on the old table tennis paddles you had in grade school. But these are longer and they have a cushion underneath them. So they actually do, like you said, reverse the spin and can be very confusing for the opponent to play. So it's a little bit different style of play. And I can attest to it being a bit frustrating to play against when you're just an offensive player because you really have to keep track of what's going on with the ball and what side of the paddle he's hitting it on. So it's obviously very effective because he just won a national championship doing it. Switching gears just a little bit here, tell us about your approach to diet and nutrition.
Okay, well, I try to avoid fast food and soda. I rarely drink. I'll drink a little bit on vacation or if I'm, at the resort or whatever. And I have an otherwise pretty bland diet. It's a lot of like rice or noodles and ground beef, some vegetables, and mashed potatoes. So it's a lot of carbs and protein for me. I need my calories.
Speaking of calories, do you have any favorite cheat meals or desserts that you like to slip in there?
Oh yeah. Mountain Dew and pizza, cheese and sausage.
Okay.
Yeah, yep, just load up once in a while.
So what motivates you to keep going today?
I am retiring soon, so that I can go all in. So the fact that retirement is coming is motivating me to keep going with this. I'm naturally very competitive. I want to see how far I can go in whatever sport I'm playing or activity, and I just don't believe in the perishable skill set as you get older. I feel I can always improve, at least for me, and I'm gonna, I'll try to prove myself wrong, I guess.
Would you have done anything differently in your health and fitness journey if you could go back?
If I could go back, I wish I would have weightlifted for longer when I was 18. I was in college for 1 year, and you didn't have to join a club. You could just go to the facilities and work out. And I was well on my way back then, but college just wasn't for me. And since I have such a hard-working lifestyle, the weightlifting is really hard for me to get back into. So I think that would have helped way back then.
I think you mentioned to me when we were talking that you do have a weightlifting goal coming up. What is that specific weightlifting goal that you're going to try to get after?
I do want to bench 200. So I think that would be pretty good for somebody who weighs 140, 145. That would be amazing for me to do that.
Okay, you got to tell us, what in general terms would you say is your secret sauce to being healthy, fit, competitive at the age of 53?
Well, it starts in the summer when the weather gets warm and I can get outside and get some tan. There's evidence that vitamin D through tanning has anti-inflammatory properties, and it just makes me feel so much better in general. So that gets me started, and that gets me going through the day.
Duane, this has been great to sit down and talk with you. I really appreciate you taking the time to tell us what makes you an automathlete that's not done yet. I'm going to give you the floor to give our audience any parting thoughts.
I would say to older people, what sport did you love as a kid? I mean, we all had to hang out on the playground during recess and skip rope or play tetherball or whatever. What did you do? Or did you like bike riding? Well, get out there and go do it. Don't just sit around and watch TV. Get moving and do something. There's so many organized clubs and leagues for older athletes nowadays. It's amazing. You just gotta have the will and the power to do it. And I'm not done yet, and I can't wait to get started.
Duane Searles, he is definitely an automathlete that's not done yet. I appreciate if you'd like, subscribe, and ding that bell for notifications to support the channel, and we will see you next time.